What's up, fams? This is EEPMON, and you are tuned in to the Late Night Channel Eps episode 56. And before we begin, if you like what I've been talking about in my episodes, please like and subscribe and do share to your fellow colleagues. It would be very much appreciated. So, on that note, let's begin. And today, I'd like to share you a personal story about what the title suggests: breaking the barrier, what ignited my creative entrepreneurial path with no regrets. So, growing up, I was taught that the definition of success was that you went to school and then you would get a university degree, you would get married, you would have a home, maybe have a car or two, and live happily ever after. And it was such a construct for me that, this was the mission. It had to be done. Though my grades in elementary school and definitely high school wasn't so stellar, I did have the opportunity to go to a college and learned, my computer skills. I had, I graduated in that. I got a diploma in computer science, and then during that time, there were these co-op opportunities, and co-op was great because this would allow individuals to get exposed to the real world working environment and get some pay for it. And to me, that was a big deal, right? Because that was part of that success path. If I get a co-op, then I can go. This could be a great transition, getting some skills and put it in my resume, and then and that would make my resume more attractive to recruiters. So anyway, I worked. I did some co-op. It was great. It was only like one semester at a time, like 4 months, right? And then I got some exposure, got some great connections, got paid, and I grew confident. I was like, wow, okay, I could actually do a job. I could actually get paid and do a job, and it wasn't as scary as I thought. Upon graduation, I was invited back by the same organization to be on a full-time basis. And this is a very, I don't want to name any names. So it was an organization that was guaranteed that, if you're in for pretty much like for life. Like you're pretty much taken care of. Like you got the job, you have all your health benefits, you get paid, but maybe not as much as one would get paid if, let's say, you got a master's degree or something like that, right? I having accepted the job because I just graduated. I'm fresh out of college, and I just needed to, that would be the next step. And I went and I did it, and I started working at the co-op job that I did as a full-time employee, and I was on a probation. Typically you would have a probation for like 6 months, and then once you're done, then you have an assessment and whether or not you will, if you are in for good kind of thing, right? But when I think everyone's different, and I seem to be a type of person where I am that I need to be constantly stimulated, so creatively, you know, uh, because I enjoy arts, I enjoy creativity, and I do not enjoy mundane tasks and doing the same thing over and over again. So as this was my opportunity to really spend 6 months really to work and do these things, do what I had to do there. My position was a web IT specialist. So I was doing web design related work and development for this organization. But then I quickly began to notice that in this particular place, the work culture uh, was so how do I say it? Like it was so demoralizing. It was really like there was absolutely no passion whatsoever. I get that my coworkers had no energy. All they care about was like when it's 3 p.m. so they could leave work. Um, and these people are just like collecting paycheck to paycheck and putting the bare minimum. And I remember there were times I did absolutely nothing that I saw, of course, I would go online and research and learn about other skill sets like the eight like more about web development, JavaScript stuff, PHP, backend stuff, and but they were I had a lot of time, and I got paid for it. And I remember we would work on projects, these web development projects. But it's all internal. But then we would have to wait for weeks on end to get approval from the higher ups, and the bureaucracy behind it. The red tape is like horrendous. Like this stuff should have been approved within the day, but it took us weeks, almost a month, to get any sort of feedback. And meanwhile, we're getting paid. We're getting paid. Every 2 weeks you get a paycheck. And as much as that sounds great, but for me, I realized, is this it? Is this what I was taught that success was about? Is this what I, what work was, and what after graduation, that's it? Like this is it. That's what work life is like. I go, no way. There's got to be more to life than this. There's got to be more to life than this. So 6 months probation passed, and of course I passed with flying colors. And he asked me to stay, and I said, "Sorry, I'm not gonna stay." And I left the cushy job. I left my cushy health benefits because I realized that I'm still young, and there's more that I want to do and why I want to give out to the world, things that I am passionate about, and I don't want being in that place. I start to lose that. I start to lose my spirit, my spiritual energy, my passion, and I can see why and why people can get so caught up and so jaded by these systems. So I had to get out. So I left that. I left all of that. Now, I don't want to make a story so long, but essentially, like therefore I started. It was really on my way to really start my own path. Because if I'm going to have an organization or some corporate entity or something to dictate what I do creatively, I just can't do that. I can't have that, because that just goes against the very values of what artists are about. We have to be free. We have to have, our strength is our freedom. And to be pigeonholed by these really boxed in environments stifles our creativity. I believe. I personally believe that. And that's just me. Maybe I'm the odd artist out. I don't know. Do you artists agree? Do you creatives agree with me or relate? So I went on my own, and it was very tough, right? It was very tough. I had, the payment or the financial was definitely not the same as a 9 to 5. And I have no health benefits, no health insurance. I just basically had to go out on my own. But funny thing is that many, it's the trials and tribulations. It was very tough, but through these trials, and starting EEPMON, even before the word creative entrepreneur or entrepreneurism was even a thing, I started EEPMON, and I learned. It was tough, but I learned so much about myself. Like it was even like, and I still do it today. Okay, I'm learning something new about myself. I discover something new, and every year when I just start on my own, I got more aware. I've been more strong intuition, and I understand how the world operates. And though I didn't get paid a lot, okay, I still today, probably in comparison to my peers, I don't get paid a lot, okay? I don't, because, art is an art. It's a tough gig. But I learned that you can be so sustainable by just like being very aware, and I learned how to budget myself. I'm quite frugal, but I'm also, I know when to spend when I want to spend, but I've also became very good at budgeting myself. I became very good at doing my due diligence and making sure that I don't overspend, and that in my feeling is like, I know when I'm a bit overboard. I know when I'm under the weather, and I know how to mitigate all that. These are skill sets that I learned over time, and these are so invaluable that the corporate world or these organizations cannot teach you, right? A lot of these corporate organizations, they teach you how to. They'll probably give you a good wage, high wage, and then expect you to perform, and then that's it. And then, at the end of the day, like, who gets the credit? Is it you, or is it the organization? And then there's no guarantees you're going to stay there. You're still going to be expendable. So if I'm going to be expendable at any time, I might as well just go on my own, out on my own, because then I'm always then I'm as free as I am. Like, I'm already out of the system. I might as well and then start something of my own. Now, in regards to the health insurance, everyone is so like gung-ho about this thing called health insurance. And I get it, okay? You got to do your teeth, get your eyeglasses, health check and all, whatever, right? But I dare say that had I continued working in that organization back in when I graduated from college, I dare say that my health would be a lot worse. Would be very, very, I would have deteriorated significantly had I kept that job. I would definitely be using that health insurance, those health benefits, had I stayed at that place, 100%. And I'd probably be, I don't know, this is just me, but I'm just saying that I'd probably be depressed. I'd probably be taking these pills, right? These prescriptions, all that. Like, I'd probably be a lot worse off had I stayed there. Okay, that was like 10 years ago. That's a long time ago. But today, like, not only that, I learned about how to take care of myself. I learned how to not to abuse my body. I exercise, I run, I eat healthy. I don't overindulge. And I'm fine. Like, I well, knock on wood, but I feel that I'm relatively quite healthy. I would dare say, comparison to majority of my generation, my peers. But so I'm wondering, like, this health insurance thing is like, everyone's so like adamant about that thing, but honestly, it's just another, for me, it's some sort of system to hold people to be diligent workers in their system. Like, so I broke out of that. Okay, as the title suggests, I broke out of this matrix, and it was hard. But by doing that, like Neo, he saw the truth. Like, for me, I also, in a way, saw the truth of the fallacy of our system, which I do feel in some ways it's failing us. Look around. Look at what people are talking about today. They're talking about job security issues. People are just getting laid off. Millennials, Gen Zs don't feel that they're not being what's the word being acknowledged for their contributions. They're working them like dogs. I saw this long time ago. I saw the system being very flawed, and I decided to, like, if it's not going to be my fit, I will have to do things on my own terms. That being said, I will also have to accept that it's going to be extremely tough, and that I may not make enormous amount of money in comparison to my contemporaries, but I do feel that I am very, very content and very confident in my position today. And I don't need to talk about the accomplishments that I've done since then, but from the inception of EEPMON to what I am now, looking back and the accolades and all the things that I've done, I think I did pretty well. Not too bad. So anyway, um, but yeah, so like I observe these things, and my fascination is of course I love doing art, but just world affairs and how everything is somehow like when you're on your own as a creative entrepreneur, you have to look at the world at a very macro lens. You have to be aware of the trends and things that are happening all over the world, and see how they are influencing each other. These sort of things are are skill sets that are important, and will also you will learn these things as you go along in your own entrepreneurial ways. Now, I want to share you something very quickly too. I don't want to go overboard. I want to keep this episode short, but I want to share you this thing. You might have heard of it. It's called ikigai, and it's a Japanese concept. It's like the confluence of all these different aspects of your life, of one's life. At the very top, you have something called what you love, and on the right it says what the world needs. On the left, it says what you're good at, and at the bottom is what you can be paid for. So there's that idea of like the crossing over of the Venn diagram of passion, the mission, the profession, the vocation, and then in the middle, at the center of it is ikigai. Ikigai is sort of like you are in your element. You're like absolute. What's the word? The uh what's the hierarchy? Why do I? Anyway, it's like it's basically you are at the top of that hierarchy of uh self-actualization. There you go. Jeez, it's just your self-actualization, where you can be in the middle of all these different things. This is something that I believe everyone should strive to achieve. Because if you're too much in your mind to make money, then you are off center. The true challenge, if you're going to do what you love, and all you do is what you love, then you're not seeing the reality of like the world that we live in, right? What the world needs, yeah, is you can provide a lot of these. You have your mission, you have to be an advocate, but is it what you love to do? So there are all these different things, and to find that middle part, I think, is the hardest, most challenging, but it is absolutely key to fulfillment. And it doesn't matter how old you are or what age you are, I believe that we should strive to achieve the ikigai. And I do believe that you don't teach these really at school, but I think this qualitative spiritual knowledge through this Venn diagram is very, very important. Not just like school systems teaching you career, like courses that get you into the systems into systems. We're not freaking robots. We're human beings. We're emotional. We have qualitative values. Not everything needs to be quantifiable. But ikigai is very great because it really is the confluence of all things of life coming together. This is very important. I like to think that I'm around in that ikigai. I know that there's always room for improvement. But it's so yeah. I mean, like if your individual is looking to just to make money and show off what you got and all that, that's just so shallow. Like I was like, oh my god, like you really have to find that middle part, really middle part. I dare say someone who could be in this middle part of all of this will be, even if they don't make a lot of money, I think in the long term they will, because the establishment of this of balancing all of this is the holy grail. Okay, like they all have an equal part into fulfilling of life fulfillment. Right. I've seen, and the reason why I talk about this whole money thing, because I've seen and I talk to and I hear and I discuss with so many people, and all they think about is like, money, 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 money. I'm so sick, it's times I'm still very sick and tired of listening to these people, right? Like, how much money do you guys need, folks? Like, how many steak dinners do you need? How many cars do you need? Like, how many real estates do you need? We when there's enough, there's enough. Like, you don't necessarily need to like have like all this abundance of like, it's nice to have, but really, like, to me it's like, you buy a big house, we're gonna fill it with more stuff. Buy a big place, you get more. You buy junk to fill up more junk. Like, I don't, even though there's things that are nice to have. Okay, I'm not saying I don't have nice things. I got nice things, but you must also be very well aware of everything else besides just like materialism and materialistic things. That's why I love this thing. This is so important. It's a great reminder. In fact, I should maybe even make a big freaking print and just like put it on my wall as a constant reminder of like what life is about, right? The reason why a lot of people are just like totally off these days is because their mind is not aligned. It needs to be aligned with something like this. So yeah. I might be digressing a little bit, but for me, I realized like, this concept of ikigai already existed, but I had to break my barrier of the system that I was in. I had to break out of it. It was very hard, but it was so encouraging when I saw this, and I was like, yes, wow, I'm not the only crazy one. I'm not the only one who realizes something is off, and not only did I ignited really to seize my passion, seize what I love to do, and really like get my work out into the world, with no regrets. I have absolutely no regrets. But not only is it a creative entrepreneurial path, but it's really about my life path too, right? It's my life path. Like I said, it's like a pilgrimage. I learn more about who I am. I really tune in and hone in of like my subconscious, actually, to really understand. EEPMON is like my subconscious, to be frank, and I follow it to a T. So, and the reason why I don't have any regrets is because I look back and I go, man, had I continued and continued with that job, and not, and probation approved, and I kept on going, I absolutely would have been a completely different person. And I dare say I'd probably be extremely miserable and full of regret. I'll be like, had I always wanted to know what it'd be like if I did this or did that, if I traveled to here and all that. What have I done? All I did was sit on my desk, get paid, got a house, got a car, maybe have a family. But even if a family, I don't know if I'll be happy or not. Maybe I'll be divorced. I don't know. Like, I'm so glad, and this is just my personal view, but I would not have any of that. Like, that life is completely like I could have easily followed that path easily, but something compelled me to pursue my own way. And through the thick of it, like through all of this, Um, I'm very glad I did, and I'm grateful. But this is just like I'm speaking to you as frank. Like, to be honest with you, I want to speak from my personal experience. Okay, and it's not easy, but it is so worth it. And I'm not saying that everyone has to follow this path or follow this trajectory that I've done. Like, it's probably insane for most people. But take a little bit of these. I think it's important to take some elements of what I talked about, elements of the idea of ikigai, of, like, looking at that Venn diagram and seeing areas in which that perhaps you can improve on or work at. Um, not everything translates to X, Y, or Z, but try to find something where you could find the balance of all of these things. And I believe that will be you will have a much more fulfilling life. You'll be more content. At least that's what I think, and that's how I feel right now. Now, like, my path is ups and downs. It's a crazy trajectory, folks. Right? It's not an easy route, but this is my path that I chose, and as I mentioned, I have no regrets. I could lose everything, folks. This is how crazy I am. I could lose everything. Okay, I could lose everything around me, but I would have no regrets because I know that I did it. I know that I have accomplished all these things, and I'm content of my accomplishments. And one person would say, what people will say, well, what was it all for then? You have everything, you lost it. What was it all for then? Well, you know what? It's because I took the chance to really got to know myself. I think if there's anything people cannot take away, is my growth as an individual, as a person, as a human being. That is priceless. So I think the note is, don't get caught up with trivial matters or trivialities. The keep up with the Joneses notion. Like, drop all that, folks. We all have to work on ourselves. Look at what Ikigai can teach us, and be a better and more fulfilling human being. That's the end of the day. That's what's up at the end of the day. So yeah, the barrier has been broken, and as to where I will go next, who knows? Who knows? Anyway, I hope you like the story. It was kind of like, I hope I made sense and was coherent with what I wanted to talk about. Please like and subscribe and share it to your friends. I would appreciate that. And yeah, that's my little spiel. We're almost at 30 minutes. Oh my God. Have a great evening. Have a great afternoon. And have a great morning wherever you are in the world. This is The Late Night Channel Eps, episode 56. EEPMON signing off. And until tomorrow, goodbye.